Hello again and welcome to my second profession, health counsellor. So now we know what a virus is made of and what the virus's impulse is. Let's look at it from this perspective. Well, I remember most vividly from my health counsellor's training, which was extraordinary. It wasn't 3 years, it was more like 3 months, but it was 7 days a week, very intensive. 3 things: diet, activity, attitude. This is the cornerstone of health. When you've addressed those 3 issues, and I'll go into a little bit of detail about these. So with the ginseng tea, Korea, Siberia, China, this is a highly revered plant spirit. Vitality. So with diet, it's about what you're putting in your mouth. And it includes, obviously, your food and what you're using for drinks. So your food and your drinks. But I want to take it further because it's also to do with the other thing you take in through your mouth and your nose, and that's air, which is also known as prana in India, Ayurvedic terms, and in the Orient, China, Korea, Japan, it's called chi or ki. So these are fundamentals. So if you want to increase your resistance to infection, if you want to become stronger, really powerful things you can do is to do deep breathing. So before I started this series of films, I was outside in the nature, standing on the grass, doing my body work, and you can see the link to that. Scroll back a few films, it's all there. Doing that outside in the cold morning air, that's very revivifying, revitalizing. I'm taking in some really good prana, chi, ki through doing that. And I'm having my hydration. After I made my films, I'll be having my breakfast. So diet is extremely important. And so from the health counsellor's point of view, one of the messages of this coronavirus is it's asking you as a human being, do an inventory. What are you eating? Seriously, are you eating crap? Are you eating foods full of life and vitality, which is bringing increased health and resistance to infection? Sort of thing we want to be thinking about. So that's diet. I made so many films on the subject. Number one thing to avoid is refined sugar. Refined sugar leaches the minerals out of the body. Okay, complete opposite. Have an Epsom salts bath or foot bath, or wash yourself all over with Epsom salts. That's a mineral which most people are chronically deficient in. Makes you feel so much better. So there's all the things we can do with diet. Natural foods, organic where possible, locally grown where possible, in season where possible, fruits, vegetables in large amounts, grains, and then much smaller amounts, animal food. Simple, isn't it? Really basic stuff. Activity, the body work, deep breathing, breath work, going into a body of water and experiencing the shock of the cold, which boosts the immune system massively, resistance to infection. It's all obvious stuff, isn't it? Anyone who's been on a retreat with me since 2008 knows the power of all these things, which is why it's right in there at the cornerstone with the water experience. All these things benefit us enormously. Other sorts of body work, dance, yoga, qigong, tai chi, running, swimming, whatever, It's all great. So that's the activity. And then the bit that really got to me, one of my favourite teachers, Bill Tara, talked about these people that were eating really good food and they were doing yoga and all this activity, and they were in like a small community. So in theory, everything should have been great. Well, it wasn't. It was rubbish. They had rubbish lifestyles because although they had attended to the diet and they'd attended to the activity, where they fell flat on their faces was attitude. They had a completely entitled, negative, spoilt, first world attitude where there was no gratitude. So this is what it comes down to, attitude of gratitude. Are you starving to death? Is someone beating the shit out of you? Are people dropping bombs and gas grenades on you? If the answer is no, if you are experiencing a degree of peace, if you can actually get your basic needs met, then automatically comes up the attitude of gratitude. And I don't know what it's like in your part of the world, but in my part of the world, the big thing I've noticed about being here is the weather has become utterly amazing. We're getting a lot of blue skies. Going back to the microbiologist, we're getting the warm temperatures which kills the virus. Wonderful stuff. Attitude's very, very important. So let me take you to this thing. Now, the question about who lives and who dies, who resists the infection, who is susceptible, that we raised in the microbiologist view, that comes to be explored well in the health counsellor's view. So in the health counsellors, we learnt about constitution and condition. Everyone gets born with a basic constitution, which really is the way that your ancestors lived, the way your parents lived and their parents and their parents. If you've got an ancestry of a good, healthy lifestyle, that means you come into the world strong. And this does sound really great. However, there is a potential drawback, which I'll explain straight away. Some people come in with a very strong constitution and spend decades trying to destroy it. And they take lots of really toxic drugs, they eat all sorts of crappy food, and they just don't give a monkeys. And they completely disrespect themselves, which is where we get the link. The link between health counselor and shaman is this. We regard the body to be a temple. And you do not dump garbage in the temple. You keep the temple clean and you put beautiful things in the temple. Things that inspire you, make you feel good. So that's why the really good food is important, good quality air for breathing, water, good experiences, good body work, attitude of gratitude. This is all loving at the temple and does great work. So there's a paradox. One of the founders of macrobiotics, who is known as Sakurazawa Nyoichi, Japanese dude, he was born very, very ill indeed, and he had parents that were not strong. And as a child, it was a question about whether he was going to live or die. So because he had pretty much a near-death experience really young, even as a child, he knew that he must do something to improve his situation. And so he did build up his condition and thereby restore what was a very weakened constitution. So some people with a strong constitution go hell-bent to destroy it. Other people with a strong constitution have great appreciation of it. If you've got a weak constitution, it means you're very easily susceptible to illnesses and infections. And it means that if you were to do certain street drugs, you're going to be utterly wiped out the following day. So whether you've got a strong or a weak constitution, ultimately it doesn't matter. What matters is what you choose to do in the here and the now, every day. Are you building a constitution up, or are you trashing it? Are you respecting your temple, your body? Are you disrespecting it? Are you pissing it up against the wall, to use that wonderful old-fashioned expression? So those are the questions that get raised from the perspective of the health counsellor. So there's loads of good things you can do. You can do good diet, you can do good physical activity, and you can challenge yourself with water experiences, breath work, all these things. And then you can give gratitude. You can appreciate what you've got, and you can send out the love to others, and you can be of service to other people, because that's the ultimate gratitude. If you're so grateful to your life, you just want to help other people. It stands to reason. So that would be the health counsellor's perspective on the coronavirus, all viruses and all infections ultimately. It's the actions that you take in the now that determine your future. Thank you very much.